Okay.
Okay. So welcome back to Slovenia again.
Thank you.
A few months ago, or no, sorry, it's a bit longer. You released a new album.
Last year.
Last year, yeah.
Yeah.
Called The Evil Divide.
Yes.
How would you compare this album to the previous ones?
I compare it to the album right before Dream Calls for Blood. I think they're very different albums. This one's not quite as thrash metal, and it's a little bit more just traditional, like old school heavy metal. A little more melodic. So I guess it's closer to like something like Act 3 maybe. Not with the funk. There's no funk, but it's just something closer to Act 3 than to like a pure thrash metal album. So it's very different than Dream Calls for Blood.
But like the core of you who made the album is the same, and also Jason Sutroff produced it again.
Correct.
I don't know, a lot of bands choose to work with a different producer after, I don't know, 1, 2, 3 records, but you're staying with this team that actually really works really well.
Yeah, and it's the first time Death Angel's done that. They've always had a different producer for every album, but when we worked with him on Relentless, it just everything clicked so well. You know, like, he became a really good friend of ours, and not just a person we work with, you know, but a dear friend. And we were very comfortable with him, you know, and he's the right guy for us, you know. At least for the last 3 albums, he's the right guy. And if we decide to work with him again, I'll be okay with that, you know. We haven't really talked about who we're going to work with next, but he's definitely a name that we're considering. So we're all very comfortable working with him. Very fun. So yeah, everything's working right with him, you know.
And he always contributes a solo, right?
Yep.
Yeah, on every album.
Yep.
No, it's okay.
He hasn't recorded that many thrash bands, you know. At least not when he first started working with us. So he had a different way of looking at things, you know. And it worked out, you know.
But he really, I don't know, brightened and pumped up
totally
the sound of Death Angels.
Totally.
That worked awesome.
Yeah.
Was the approach of writing the new material any different than on the previous albums? Because like the major contributors in the past were Mark and Rob, right?
Yeah, and that's same thing on Evil Divide. So like the process wasn't any different, but when Rob started writing the songs, like writing the riffs, we knew it was going to be a very different album. You know, just a little bit more headbanging and just a little bit less thrash. You know, so like Rob and I, Rob will come into the studio with riffs, and him and I will jam for a few months, like a month maybe, of just me and him playing together. And I help with the arrangements a lot, you know, like we'll work on riffs, and I'll help piece it together and stuff. And then after we have all the songs finished between me and him, then we show the rest of the band, and then the rest of the band starts jamming, and Mark starts writing lyrics.
Okay, you just mentioned lyrics. It's not a concept, but at least as I saw it, the theme of the new album is actually really kind of dark. It touches on the darkness of society.
Yes.
But it also, I mean, most of the lyrics, at least the way I see them, also have like a message of endurance and perseverance.
Absolutely.
Would you agree?
Absolutely. That's totally what Mark wanted people to get from his lyrics, you know. A lot of his lyrics on previous albums were more personal, about his personal issues and, you know, things he's gone through. And on this album, it's a little bit more outward, about the world around us and about other people's problems, you know, and problems we all have that we can all relate to, you know. So, but yeah, you definitely got the right message from the record. It's about surviving, and not just surviving, but getting better. And also the cover is actually really simplistic, but it has a deeper meaning, like a symbolic meaning. Could you elaborate a bit on that? You know, unfortunately, like, I'm the wrong person to ask about that, man. Like there is a lot of meaning to that, but that was a Rob and Mark thing, and I wouldn't do it justice if I tried to explain it, unfortunately.
Okay.
But Bob Tyrell, a friend of ours, he's the one that painted the cover.
It's based on the tattoo, right?
Yes, Rob's tattoo and Mark's tattoo. And he also did some other tattoo work on both of them. And he's worked with Exodus on doing tattoo work. That's how we met him. We met him through Exodus.
Cool.
And now he's a good friend of ours. And the album came out great. We were originally going to use the same artist who painted the last two album covers. But he ran out of time. He took too long, and we had a deadline. So that artwork still might be used for something in the future. But Bob Tyrell was able to knock it out real quick, and we're happy with it. Having the wolf on every cover might get a little cheesy after a while. So it was good to switch it up a little bit. I'm not saying the wolf won't come back. He might come back, but for this album, it was good to switch it up a little.
Cool. Yeah, and it works. In like a whole team for the album. Did you have like maybe a different approach to drumming? How you
totally
wrote your drums for this?
Totally. I just wanted it to sound more like a classic like 70s or early 80s like drum performance. And with the miking and the tone and everything, like Jason wanted a bigger drum sound. Everything's really tight and compressed on Dream Calls for Blood because the songs are so fast. This album's a little slower, so there's more room to breathe. So we wanted the tones to really shine. I approached it like I was listening to Heaven and Hell, like the album by Black Sabbath, the album, like Neon Nights or something like that, just a little more classic.
You were there like at the start of the thrash scene in the LA area, in the Bay Area. How would you compare? I think you played in Ulysses Siren, if I'm right.
Yeah.
How would you compare like the early days of thrash and now?
Well, the very first wave of thrash, I was a little too young. Like I didn't see Metallica in the clubs. And, I came along in the second wave when like Violence and Forbidden and bands like that started coming around. And how is it different now to then? In the Bay Area or
I mean, in general.
Well, in the Bay Area, there was a lot more places to play. Like in San Francisco, it catered to live music a lot more. So there was a lot more going on. There was always bands playing every night of the week. Local or international bands playing every night of the week. So it was very exciting. And there were a lot more local bands too. Like a lot of bands starting up, and everyone wanted to be in a thrash band. So it was really cool to have music every night. Not every band was good, but it was still cool to have the option to see a show every night or play a show every night. So that's definitely died down. It's not the same anymore in the Bay Area. Not quite like that, I think worldwide, it seems like heavy metal is doing better worldwide than it ever has,
Exactly.
So that's fine with me. I think it's a really good thing. I think things are improving and they're on the upswing. Just as long as glam doesn't come back or something. I'm just kidding. I actually love glam. I love glam. But that helped kill metal though. So things are looking good right now.
Reunions and releases of classic albums are really popular these days. Is there any chance, for something new from Ulysses Siren, or any gigs or something?
Ooh, no. After John Torres passed away, that's pretty much it. Unfortunately. I feel like that band never got a chance to really show the world what they could do, Those first two demo tapes are some of the best Bay Area thrash, and just some of the best thrash in the world,
I agree.
It's amazing, and learning those. I'm not on those demo tapes. I joined later. But learning those songs were the hardest songs I ever had to learn in my life. The hardest stuff I ever had to learn. And even when I was in the band, it was very dysfunctional. Like a lot of drinking, a lot of drugs.
Yeah.
Not John, but other members. And people were coming in and out all the time, and it was just hard to keep it together, you know. And it's just unfortunate, very unfortunate. If John was still alive, I'm sure Ulysses Siren would be playing right now.
Yeah.
They put out that demo that, have you heard the last demo they put out?
No,
A few years ago, Justifiable Homicide. You know, and, like, they were going to push that, and he died shortly after that came out. So, but as far as the band reforming, I don't think so. They would get along. Like John was the one that kind of brought them all together, you know. And there's really no one to do that now, unfortunately. So, yeah, I don't think so.
What's in the immediate and maybe even long-term history for you with Death Angel and with Hammers of Misfortune?
Okay, with Death Angel, I mean, I'm very happy with being in the band, and just want to continue to make albums and tour, and keep doing that cycle until we die, you know. And Hammers of Misfortune is not quite so easy because everyone lives all over the place, you know, very spread out. Like the two main members, John and Sigrid, they live in they just moved to. They moved to Montana, you know, so that's really far away from the Bay Area. And they have a kid now, so they can't really tour as much as they want to, you know. So for Hammers of Misfortune, unfortunately, we're just going to do festivals here and there. We're hopefully going to go to Europe next year.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the plan. But and as far as like making albums, it takes a long time to make a Hammers Misfortune album. The music's very deep involved, and it takes him a couple years to write it, you know. So he's writing right now for the next one. So I predict probably at the end of 2018 or beginning of 2019 we'll start recording another album. Yeah. So, but I do enjoy being in that band, you know, and I wish they would be more active, but it's just hard, you know.
Because it's different, like.
It's very different. It's like, yeah. It's like Deep Purple-ish or something, you know.
The last album is amazing.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thank you. Like we've only played like two shows in support of that album, so I'm hoping we do a few more before we record the next one.
You have to spread out the work.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, so that's it for me.
Okay.
What would be your message to your Slovenian fans?
Well, I give you respect for holding up with the rain and still coming out to see metal. That's fucking awesome. So yeah, much respect. You guys are very true metalheads. And this is our third time playing Metaldays. Used to be called Metal Camp, right? And we're stoked. We're the last band to be playing, and I hope you all stick around and have the energy to hear one more band. And stay heavy. All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, man.